can't say I recommend it just yet. I don't think I will be able to recommend this.
Be very careful with the next thing you say.
Galadriel is she just comes across a bitch. Really stern, just a cow.
That's not very careful.
The moment we feared is here. Sauron has returned.
That's it. Sauron's returned, ladies and gents. Eminem. And it's funny as well because everyone's like, he's a non-binary icon. He's fucking evil. Why do these dipshits always claim literal evil people to represent them? And I'm going to go on a limb here, ladies and gents. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but you all, like most people did it with bloody George Floyd. That is not someone you want to represent your movement. Guy was a dipshit scumbag. I know people are going to hate me for it, but sorry, you should probably do some research on the people you martyr.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Will take on the role of this younger incarnation of the Elven warrior. She was never a warrior at all. Incredibly unlikable. And it's sad to say it because she's a good actor. But I tweeted this out. Follow me over on Twitter at Misleading Reviews. Just Galadriel is incredibly unlikable because she really is. There's no ethereal nature to her. She's very stern. Overly stern. And you know, a lot of this stuff is just fabricated, just make-believe. She's not a warrior. This isn't who she is. Her power was so wide-ranging, she didn't need to do stuff like that.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I haven't spoken much about the Lord of the Rings of Power. Like, I've done some videos, like, of course. But a lot of it was just like, well, this trailer looks like garbage. We don't really know anything. These posters are garbage. They seem to be wrecking canon. Like, there's loads of stuff, right? Do you want to know what it is, ladies and gents? Sauron's returned. We must team up. Oh, it sounds an awful lot like the Fellowship of the Ring, doesn't it? Sounds an awful lot like the Fellowship of the... And I think it's embarrassing when the likes of Raised by Wolves, right, which admittedly sort of stumbled a little bit in its first season, but it's very good season 2, quite, you know, high concept sci-fi, had Ridley Scott's name behind it. Again, not someone who's has a up and down track record, but that just gets canned. Didn't have a huge budget, and then the Lord of the Rings of Power comes along, get two no-name fools that literally have no idea what they're talking about and just like... Oh my god. Oh, this is the most expensive TV series ever produced. I'm just going to throw that out there. I personally didn't think this was particularly good. Like, at all, really. Now, I've read the books, and I know, you know, parts of the lore.
I love you.
Liar! Liar!
You fucking moron! You are a fucking human piece of shit and a disgrace!
My inclusion, my representation, my diversity. So I know that a lot of what's being stated here is fabrication just for this series. Now, I really liked the films. Peter Jackson did a fantastic job with the films, so they're really, really good. And you know, like, a lot of this isn't just comparing it to the films, a lot of this is comparing it to the books. So I will say straight off the bat before I get into my personal thoughts about this show, is that if you're not, I don't even want to say purist, but if you're not familiar, there you go, you're not familiar with the world, because you don't even have to be a purist. If you're not familiar with the world, you might like this.
That's cool, but you're living in a fucking dream world, okay?
Sword flips it. Yeah, he flips her up on the sword, and then she takes down the snow troll entirely single-handedly. What point are your band of elves? What's the purpose? Are they just there to keep you company? I don't get it. You know? There's nothing essential about the company you keep. Or sound design, or the actors themselves, but a lot of this feels like it's missing something. You know, like there's a lot of sort of thespian language being put out in the dialogue. Not super thespian, but you know, it's kind of there. And in Peter Jackson's, you know, The Lord of the Rings, and also just the books themselves, it comes across so much better, more refined. Now, obviously, in the books, you're reading it, you're putting it across yourself. But in Peter Jackson's, whether it was a combination of the sound design, there was a gravitas to when they were talking, or it just worked.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Their efforts to make a new story between stories, because they don't really have the rights to anything. They're like, so I know that a lot of what's being stated here is fabrication just for this series. Now, I really liked the films. Peter Jackson did a fantastic job with the films, so they're really, really good. You know, not everyone has to be a warrior. And they made her like a substandard version of not even herself. Inclusion, representation, diversity. Name fools that literally have no idea what they're talking about, and just like inclusion, representation, diversity. We don't really know anything. So I know that a lot of what's being stated here is fabrication. I really like